Let's call this meeting to order, stand up and give the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. As I said, we are now open. Roll call, please.
Donnie Robinette,
Here.
Jason Bell,
Present.
Lauren Ashby, I'm here, Jeanette Baker, present, James Cop,
Here.
Don Cummings,
Here.
Jennifer Eccles,
Here.
Joe Hubbard,
Here.
Paul Jacqueline.
Here. Very good. Any modifications to the agenda,
There are none.
other than John will not be present tonight, right? The legal report.
That is correct.
Consent agenda. Everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes. Any discussion on that?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So moved. Committee reports.
There are none this month.
Any old business?
There is none this month.
New business?
All right, we have two grant requests this evening. First, we'll hear from Dana Monson from the Arts Commission. She'll be requesting funding for a walking tour app that can feature up to 10 different walking tours. The grant would also help pay for signage at each of all the stops. So I'll let Dana take it from here.
Good evening. I'm Dana Monson, and I am the Community Development Specialist for the City of Franklin and also staff for the Franklin Public Arts Commission. So we are here tonight requesting some funds to create a new product that we believe will enhance tourism and the visitor experience in downtown Franklin. So as Ken said, this is a product that will create a web-based application that a tourist can come down, do a self-guided tour, a number of tours. They could choose to do a tour of all of our public art facilities and all our public art that we have downtown. They could do a tour of our historic homes and our historic areas that we have. They could do potentially a tour of the Franklin Development Corporation and our facades and a lot of the befores and afters. History lost, where we've had some really beautiful buildings that we no longer have. We want to show people what was there at one time, and I bring that historic perspective into it. So those are just some of the tours that we're discussing. But with this product that we're looking at, it is a company called Story. And it's weird because it's spelled STQRY. So I don't know. I have an elementary education degree that makes me twitch, but nonetheless, that's their company name. So we'll go with that. But this app would essentially have, as Ken stated, it will have QR codes at all of the stops and all the places, the same logo, same design, same style, etc. So the people will know what it is. They can choose to come here and maybe they're standing across the street at Middle David Candles. They see the sloth mural. They like, who is this? What is this? What does this do? They can pull up this application. They click the Public Arts app, which this would basically take them to that. They can click on it. It will come up. It will have a video of the artist Greg Potter and Gordon Strain talking about here's why we did this, kind of here's where it's from. There happened to have been a grant from the state as part of the what was in Indiana, when that's the name of the kid. Thank you. Yes. So we could mention that, which gives us a little bit of ability to recognize sponsors and donors and things along those lines as well. And then they can also pull up some pictures, some of our art installations. Definitely a lot of our FDC things, some of our historic things will have photos, other photos of that building. You could have photos of the art, other things that Greg may have done, Greg or Gordon may have done in the area, things like that. So when we have a visitor, we have this quite often. Someone comes to town, they see the banners, they look up here, they see Gabriel Yaden's banners and how beautiful they are, but they don't know what why do we have a cupcake hanging on West Jefferson Street? Well, here's why. And we can share that with them. We have done a number of I had done a lot of research on these apps. Really believe this one is the one that is the most robust, is the most reasonably priced. We are also looking to, in addition to partnering with you on this project, we are also talking to Franklin Heritage Inc., which would like to help us with the historic tours. We could also have video with Rob Schultz talking about some of the architecture, history, things of that nature. Danny Causey with Discover Downtown Franklin, he can help us do some walking tours of restaurants and boutiques and things like that. So if you're a visitor, you want to know what's downtown, you can pull this up. The QR code will take you to that tour, or whatever it is that you want. You'll be able to give a menu, choose from there, and go for it. So we really feel that this is something, again, that I think is going to be very beneficial to tourists. We can create brochures, have it at all of the hotels, have it in the areas, our shops. Danny does an amazing job talking and keeping in connection with all of our small businesses, so we can talk to them about having some of our brochures, things like that, to help promote it and get it out. And always we're able to do some of our own branding. So we'll all have our own branding. We will also have the opportunity to have Festival Countries branding on there as well, acknowledging you as one of the partners in this project. So we are requesting a grant for the $5,000 for product development. And I'm happy to take any questions.
I have a question. So I've done something similar down in Bloomington. Does this app provide? So what we did as an organization, so we had an organizational event in Bloomington, and we broke up in teams, and we would go around and kind of hit some of these major points, and whoever got done first, kind of won. Does this is the Army? We are always competing. Does this allow you to do something like that, where you can say, okay, hey, there within each one there was kind of like a little question kind of thing? Does it allow something like that, or is it just along the lines of, hey, here's a picture and here's the background on it? Is there something fun that people can do?
Absolutely. That's a great question. And it's actually one of the reasons why I personally really like this software, because we are in charge of the content. So we don't give them and they write it. I mean, we have Ken Kosky. Why would I want anybody else to write this, But we can do things like that. Another aspect of this is for I don't know if you guys know this yet or not. I may be stealing some of Andy's thunder, sorry. But next year we are hosting the Preserving History Conference with Indiana Landmarks and Main Street. It's the state conference. There could be as many as 350 to 400 people. So they're going to be here for the last week of September, first part of October. We could create a tour specifically for that. And we've actually talked about that. And you go through and you do the whole tour. You can mark the spots. You can come in then that way and turn your name in, and you could win a $50 gift card to someplace to try to encourage them to shop downtown, things like that. We can also do seasonal tours. So for example, FHI has the home tour and the garden tour every other year. We can switch those back and forth. So we can have up to 10 published tours, but then we can have other tours that we create in the background. And for the week of the conference, we can flip out one of those or something like that. So it absolutely does. It gives us a lot of flexibility, primarily because we control the content. Yeah, it's a great question.
I have two questions. Does it integrate with a navigational app? Like
Yes.
tell people how to walk?
Yes, it's the map that has a mapping portion to it, and that is connected through Mapbox. Don't ask me anything about that. I'm not techie, Don, you are. But yes, but it does have that capability.
My other question, I like this idea a lot. One question that gave me some pause. When you talked about having hundreds of signs everywhere, I start thinking about clutter in a beautiful downtown. Are these just little small QR things like this or something?
So we would have them at some of those spots. We could have them like as window clings that a lot of our visitors and residents are already used to seeing, like in the door of a shop or something like that. One of the things that we talked about as a group, as a committee that's putting this together, is we want to have consistency in the branding so that regardless of what tour you're on, you're part of the City of Franklin tourism tour. I don't know what we're going to call it yet.
People on the tour know which.
So they know what it is, exactly. And it will pull up to a landing page, and then on that landing page, there will be a menu. They can look at it, choose which one they want. So it's one QR code for all the tours at one time. So there will only be one per, because the way I understand it, it goes to that landing page to do that. And we did also talk about that. That was one of the things that we actually had consideration of. If we put one on every single light pole that has a banner, we have 90 banners just on West Jefferson Street. That might be a little ridiculous. So we
Okay.
would be more strategic in how many.
So if you were gonna show a restored building, what it used to look like, you don't need this QR code on that building.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have to. We would obviously want to do that on some of them. Because another thing is, as far as it being a self-guided tour, and with this map box and the way that it works, say that we have to number them in order to, it's part of the setup. So, say we start over on the east side of town and we start numbering them, but somebody comes and they parks here at the amphitheater and they look at Beth Manzio's work in the amphitheater. They pull it up. She might be number 30 on the stop, but because of the mapping, it will pull to that spot. It kind of geofits us to that area. So it will pull it up that they can start wherever they want to. If they're on that tour, it'll kind of say, hey, here's the first stop. So you don't have to do it in order.
That was kind of my question. If somebody was standing in front of something and wanted just to see it, they wouldn't do a whole tour, but they
Right.
wanted to see what that building was, they could do that.
They could do
with the
that.
map. Okay.
Right, because they could pull it up and the map will show them the stops and show them where they're at.
How do you think you'll be telling the world that the app exists?
That is an excellent question. We have a lot of ideas, as I said, brochures, information at all of the hotels, at all of our events. These QR codes will have little dibs about it. We have a social media site. FHI has a social media site. Danny is the king of marketing. He'll have tons of social media out there. The art craft, the places that we know where people are going to be attracted, we'll put small signage, especially once it gets started, helping to get things promoted. We have a farmer's market every Saturday morning. We could have a sign there that says, hey, this thing exists, check it out, that kind of thing. So we want to do that. We want to do blurbs with the Daily Journal and of course, print media and things along those lines. Also talking to the television stations. I think they love coming down here, Channel 4, Channel 13, all of those 59. We would love to do that as part of the next time they come. They do a Your Town Friday or whatever they call that. Try to get just a short, brief segment of time on there as well. And obviously Festival Country.
I heard it.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to, I don't know, go ahead and go up and introduce yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm not a marketing genius, but I'm Danny Causey and I'm involved in this also. And I just wanted you to know that this $5,000 is just a part of the cost. There's a lot of other organizations that are gonna have some skin in the game, as they say. So like Franklin Heritage, DDF, several City of Franklin are all gonna be paying money too, because I think the initial cost is like $9,000 to $12,000, depending on what we pick.
Paying everything.
Yeah, but
And that's for 3 years.
yeah, so I'm a former board member, if you didn't know, and when I think about my tourism brand, I don't see this as being the thing that's gonna like attract a bunch of people, but this is gonna be a major value add for the tourism that's already coming here and getting them to come back. And the one thing I like about this is not an app you download. This isn't something you have to go to the app store and download. It's confusing. So I just saw your face. It's confusing because they call it a web app. And we had 20 minutes of this confusion in a meeting this week. It's not a native app. It's actually a website so you scan it, you don't have to download anything, because there's been several times where I scan something and want you to download something. I'm like, oh, forget that. So I think it's a really good product. We did a lot of research on the other companies, and like the National Forest Service uses this, the Walt Disney Museum uses this. Is like the big dogs are using this software. So just wanted to throw that in there for you guys.
I like the idea. I hadn't considered. I like the idea. It might cause people to come back thinking, you know what, next time I want to do the historical tour.
Yeah, I want to come back and.
We should come back in a couple of weeks and do that.
Right, and then like I said, as we have special events, we can create temporary tours, so to speak, and just if we are at our 10 maximum, we just pull them down for a few weeks, like, something like that, switching back and forth, so.
Any other questions from board members?
You answered my, I guess my question on subscription. I feel like this would be more of a subscription based type of thing. But you guys answered that. So this would be for a 3-year deal.
It's for a 3-year deal, correct?
Okay.
So, that's one of the things that we look at, if we hate it. We actually, I don't know if you know Dustin Brenton, but we've been talking to him and he's kind of done a lot of video work and suggestions. And we have a couple of options on putting something like the videos together. We can embed them directly on that website. We can also put them on a YouTube channel and then just pull it from the YouTube channel. If we did that, we decide we don't like this, we want to go with something else, we still have the content. And all we have to do is just pull it from that. So there's a lot of people thinking outside of the box on that. One of the things that is most important to us is that it does not cost the visitor anything. We don't want them to have a cost, as Danny said so well. We really want this to be a value add and something that enhances their experience while they're here, and also encourage them to come back to, oh, this is going to be coming on later, or oh, we want to do a coffee tour, or we want to do a brewery tour, you know, any of those kinds of things.
I guess my other question, and I know that I've talked to a couple of people about this, but the photo opportunities, I think, Ken, that we've talked about this, where it wouldn't be so much wayfinding, but you know, stand here for a perfect picture
Right.
down Artcraft Alley. Would that somehow be integrated in this app, or we talked about that. We have so many photo opportunities, especially
Right.
in Franklin, but in Johnson County in general. Is there a way to integrate that, or hey, stay here, you know,
Stay
go here
here.
for the photo opportunities?
We actually, I'm definitely gonna let you speak on that too, Kim, but just to let you know, Danny and I and about 4 other people went to Fort Wayne last week for his Preserving History conference that we're coming. And in Fort Wayne, they have these little sidewalk stickers. And it's, you know, if you stand on here, this is the perfect selfie spot,
Right.
something like that. Discover Downtown Franklin has already started putting some stickers, like wayfinding, basically stickers downtown. We could do something like that. So we might be back next year for a grant. But you could actually do those pretty simple. Those stickers, the ones that Danny has gotten are amazing. They held up great all winter, ice, snow, the whole bit. You know, we had the snow cleaners scraping over them. They did fine. So I think that what would make the most sense is actually having it physically, something like that physically on there. I'm not sure how we could do that through the app. I'm sure there's a way. It could be a picture or something like that, but that would be my suggestion. But Ken, you probably have better.
Yeah, so we could actually have a tour that was specifically a selfie tour. I went to Cheyenne, Wyoming, and they had giant 20-foot cowboy boots that everybody decorated in a different way. And what I thought was cool, that was cool in itself, but what was really cool was you could call a phone number and the artist would tell 30 seconds about what their inspiration was, and it just really added to it. And this app kind of does that. And like Dana said, we can control the content. So we could put we could have an outright selfie spot tour, or we could say this is a popular spot along the art tour where people get their picture taken, stand in front of, under the arch of the Artcraft Alley. So there's more than one way we could do it.
Anything further?
Danny mentioned, I think you said the National Forestry Service. I mean, some of the big dogs using this, so they're assumably doing this kind of in a nationwide type of setting, not for one specific location. Is there any consideration in coordinating with the other cities and towns within Johnson County?
That's actually a question that we put to the business development person from this app. She is supposed to be sending me some examples. The last call that we were on just this week with her, there was Winnipeg, Manitoba had a really cool, so I mean, they're working up into Canada and, you know, all over the place or something like that. And one of our ideas was, could we connect with other communities who are using this app? For example, Shelbyville has this, well, they have, back up a little bit. This app originally started as a company called Pocket Sites. Story bought them out. So the original tours that Shelbyville had, they started with Pocket Sites. They've since moved and migrated over to this Story. So if they could tell us who was all there, we could cross promote and things like that. That was a question that we had for them. So she's supposed to be sending me that information. The ones that did choose to migrate over and stay, and the ones that maybe they dropped out, it would also be good to know. I know that Hope, Indiana has one. Columbus is using this with an airport tour. They have, through Story, the new company, Columbus put together a new employee tour. So they walk the new employees through their facilities and areas in Cummins and things like that. Which is kind of a unique idea to use for that. But I mean, they have so many employees, it makes sense for that.
Plans where you can have a bunch more stops. It's just one.
Right.
So like if this is successful.
Or more tours.
Yeah, more tours.
Right.
You could easily add it for Greenwood or whatever.
Right.
And Festival Country could help facilitate that.
Oh, yeah.
I think we heard you say at this subscription level, you can put up 10.
Up to 10.
tours.
But then again, we can have behind the scenes, we can have others, we can have temporary tours and things like that. So we can have 10 public tours. We can also have these in other languages. So for example, if we put together a public arts tour, which is probably the first one that we'll do, we can have that with everything in English, and we can also have it in Spanish, for example. That through them is considered one tour. So we could have a public arts tour, and you could choose English, or you could choose Spanish, or whatever language that, you know, that we're choosing to use.
Does your nonprofit's bylaws probably wouldn't let you invest around the county anywhere, just in Franklin?
Through PAC, we can only do in Franklin. We're actually a city commission, so it's
So
public dollars.
that gets at Paul's question a little bit,
Mhm.
whether somebody could piggyback with you. The answer is probably.
We could, because I think the next level is, it's the first, was like $99 a month for 2 tours, and then for 10 tours, it comes to $187 a month. As Danny said, we're splitting that cost. The city is gonna pay a portion, FHI wants to pay a portion. Obviously, we're requesting a portion with you guys, and we're requesting a portion through FDC, Franklin Development Corporation. So we're all paying into that. So maybe if we moved up to that next level of 20 tours, I honestly don't know the cost for that because we didn't look that high. And Greenwood wanted to do a tour, we could probably work through that. I mean, that would definitely be something that we'd have to look at and see how things.
Like a rep. They send if they're on behalf of the
Yeah.
because Ken would be involved, they would give the guidance of maybe any mistakes we made or ways we
Right.
had.
Yeah, the one thing I'm thinking about that, the way it works, it's gonna have to have one entity as the primary person or the primary institute for that, or organization. So if that said City of Franklin, it would be kind of difficult to explain why they're going to Greenwood. But Greenwood, as Danny said, Greenwood could certainly replicate this. We get the templates and get the things up, they could,
That's right. You're really here as a city department, not a nonprofit, right?
right?
Okay, all right,
Mhm.
thanks.
Anything further?
I'd just like to make one comment. I'm not going to recount this lady's entire resume, but for those of you who don't know her, I will tell you that there was a couple of years where she hosted, before Festival Country existed, she hosted basically what's the Festival Country website, and
Journey Johnson
helped
County.
us make it more modern and migrate it to the platform it's on now.
And worked very heavily with you on that. You were a great help.
I just wanted to know who you were.
So what's the pleasure of the board?
I make a motion to approve the grant as requested for $5,000 for the development and data population of this app.
I'll second that.
Been moved by Don, seconded by Jason. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All those in favor of $5,000 for this grant, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So moved.
Thank you very much.
Dana, we're gonna have a photo opportunity. I'm announcing a new program we've got here. We've got a giant check. And we're gonna start getting the picture with the recipient and the board going forward.
Oh.
I'm springing that on you. If you had said no to the grant, I was just gonna like. Swing it away and.
So what are we doing if a member of the board votes no?
You don't sign those.
Yeah.
Okay. We done it.
Go ahead and Dana, go up there. Would. How do you?
Do you want to do it now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Donnie or as the president, or you just want to go behind them, or you want to have send somebody down? How do you prefer to?
You can hold it.
Yeah.
We can stand up.
Yeah, we can
like
stand up.
We can stand up behind, like here, maybe.
You don't have to.
Go ahead, please.
Like all the way back.
Oh,
yeah.
I'll take it in inflation.
Can you get everybody in or do we need to double up?
Yeah. I'll take a few here, so just keep those friends going, okay? Just think about that check you're gonna write after this. All right, I got several good ones.
Okay.
Thank
Cool.
you.
And Felicia has extra paper if you.
Yeah.
Just need to get like a whiteboard.
Tell me time. Have the race.
I was gonna say dry erase.
Very good, very good.
All right, by way of introduction for the second one, 50,000 has already been approved out of last year's grant budget to pay for a game plaza outside Toodly-Doo Toys. For those of you that were on the board last year, you remember that one of Roger Brooks' selling points when he came through downtown Franklin was he loved almost everything except the county buildings and the blank space he loves the courthouse, but the other county buildings. He felt that they could use some landscaping, some things like that, but he also felt that Toodly-Doo would be the perfect site for a public game plaza where people just walking downtown could stop in, throw some cornhole, do some other games, and then be on their way. So with that introduction, I'll let Danny tell you of what he's come up with.
Hello, everyone. Danny Causey with Discover Downtown Franklin. I do have to say this is Ken has driven this project and he has kept me in. It's been a little bit later than he wanted probably, but his passion, and I really just appreciate working with Ken and working with Festival Country. It's our strongest partner. So I put together a packet for you. The first page, as you can see, is just a rendering that I did. It doesn't show all of the games, but you can see the Connect Four and the children's gaming table, and then the guys in the background playing cornhole. But just the gist of this project is we want to make it look right. We want to make it fun. So we're going to be working with the same fencing contractor that made the existing fences that are right outside around all the little flower beds. And then the games that you don't see here that we have included in this is a foosball game. And then there's an adult size gaming table also. I printed out everything for you. The second page is the one that you care about the most, I'm sure. We're looking to work with a contractor called Doty and Sons, which their website is Outdoor Concrete Games. I was just in the conference in Fort Wayne and I actually saw all these games at a new park they just built. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. I can see them in real life. I try to include probably too much information for you, but one of the cool things is Festival Country branding. I want to make sure you know that this sign is just like a really early mock-up. It's not the exact sign, but it will be a lit sign there that's going to include Festival Country, DDF, and Toodly-Doo Toys branding. It's going to be called the Festival Country Fun Plaza. So we're going to work out an exact design on that. But this pricing includes updating that sign, updating the electric in it. It includes some like random small signs that are required by the insurance agent of Toodly-Doo Toys, which the very last page, I just threw it in there just so you could see that their insurance agent is kosher with this. But they're going to require like a few things to say no children, some non-fun stuff, but some stuff that we're going to do right. But we're going to be looking at a bag toss game, disconnect game, which Connect Four, foosball, both of the checkerboard tables. And then if you flip through, you'll notice on this corner one, there's a branding on there. So the bottom of the page that shows all the costs, I called them today. And Festival Country logo, as you know, has got a lot of colors. So if we wanted to do a full color logo on there, they would add $600 per game. So for both cornhole boards, it'd be $600. And they said also the foosball, like the soccer field, if you would, they can put the logo in there too. I don't know if that's as valuable, but I think it would be really cool to have your logo on the cornhole boards. So you can do a single color. So if you want to do something like that, it's going to add a little bit of cost. But I was at the Roger Brooks thing, and everything we've done with you since then has been following the Roger Brooks advice, and it's working so far. So that kind of just gives you like a high level overview of this. Debbie Pearson will actually be paying a little bit more for her. That's the owner of Toodly-Doo Toys. She's going to actually be paying a little bit more for her insurance, but she sees it as such a positive for the community. And hopefully it's going to bring more people to her business also. Of course, that would be great. But we have everyone on board. The city's on board. We've talked to all the planners. This is just a basic rendering I did to show the fence company. I'm waiting on a hard quote from them, just so you know, but we should be in the right ballpark on price on that. And it sounds like Ken said there was 50,000 earmarked, so we should be well below that. So I'm happy to answer any questions if I could. The Toodly-Doo has agreed to take on the ownership of actually like passing out the stuff that you like, the bags and the discs and stuff like that. So they have taken on that. And also I have communicated with Franklin Parks and Rec. From time to time, you're going to have to move some of these things. So the cornhole boards, for instance, are like 350 pounds. And I'm not doing that. So they have like the, I mean, I could, but I'm not. They have like the forklift things on their vehicles, and they agreed to move them from time to time because like the Santa Shack, for example, will be in that spot. So we're in the wintertime, we'll need to move them, but I think it'll be a great addition to our downtown. I know it does seem expensive, but we want to make sure it's done right and done with high quality products that are going to last. So yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Maintenance. So maintenance on, so like the foosball, right, for instance, or the cornhole bags, where does that money come from? All under.
So Danny and I already talked, and what we want to do is order so many in advance, knowing that there'll be a churn, that some will be destroyed or stolen. So we'll have the branded bags with our logo, plenty in reserve, and that would be built into the initial cost. But obviously, if this goes on for a year or two and they need a few $100s to do that, we've provided that to maintain the alleys. We've paid to put new black lights in the Artcraft alley, a few $100s. So I would anticipate we do the same to keep this going if we're going to invest that much.
Yeah, like for example, like on these sheets are probably too detailed, but like for example, a set of the bags is $47. So even if you're buying 4 or 5 of those a year, we're not talking major money, but I do appreciate.
I just want to make sure that it's, somebody's thought about it.
Yeah. Yeah. We want to make sure that it's not a burden on the toy store,
Right.
But one of our
She's
organizations.
got to pay for it. She's not going to be too happy. One of the things on here, no games where balls can roll on the sidewalk or roadway. The issues with foosball.
So he told me that was specifically targeted towards ping pong.
Yeah.
So I think because it's captive in there, it shouldn't be. He knows I sent him this rendering and everything else in there, and he's okay with that.
Okay.
We were originally looking at a game called Ladder Toss, which is called like a bunch of different. It's the 2 balls on a row, and he wouldn't allow that. So,
Okay.
I'm sure you saw in his email he said insurance runs everything, but
It's a fun sponge.
we want to be good on all of that before we order anything. I know you guys all agree.
And Debbie's gonna take in all the loose pieces at night, is that the
Yes.
deal? And what are her operating hours typically?
That's a great question. I'm not sure.
With the exception of for Fridays, we stay open until 8.
Yeah.
But 7 days?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
We could even try potentially leaving the bags out, a set of bags out overnight on Friday and Saturday and see how it goes. It may go poorly and we just go like, okay, regular hours.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a huge. And then in the sign design on let's see, the one that shows like how or not the sign, the fencing. We made that, even though there isn't really like balls to roll into the road, obviously the safety of children, which they already have hula hoops and stuff out there. This is a plan view on the bottom. So if you've noticed, she has like some planters in front of her place. That's this area right here. The building's right here. We have a return that goes all the way to her building on this side. And even though we maybe didn't have to have it, we have like right where that sign pole is right here. We have a 6-foot return there. All 3 of these 6-foot, the design is so it can be hinged. So when they have UPS trucks or the Santa Shack or anything, they can move it. So we tried to cover all of our bases and think of future growth, things like that. We also, just one thing in case you're curious, the signage, I'm going to make sure that it's vinyl on there. So if there is a change of business, that we can change the sign for not $5,000, you know what I mean, for very cheap. So, and also Festival Country will own these products. So if there is a change of ownership and they don't want it anymore, we could explore option B. But she is one of our oldest businesses, so I feel confident that it'll be there for at least a considerable amount of time.
So if ownership changes or the business closes, we have the capability to retrieve
Yeah.
and sign this back.
Yeah, that's how we
Relocate
like to
them
do
somewhere.
everything with our prizes for the first Fridays. We retain ownership on those benches and things that we're going to be buying for folks. So that way that if they move out of the county, they don't just get to take all that stuff with them.
Okay.
Danny, will you have any signage around there that says, everyone welcome, public welcome or something like that? So they don't think it's just for people that shop at that.
Yeah, yeah. And we haven't designed that yet, but we're open to any input like that. And we want to make even the legal signs, we want to make those like, thank you for coming. And here's the rule. Like we want to keep it friendly. But that's a great idea. I actually I added a little extra budget into the signs, and you'll notice I did a 10% contingency So if some things come up like that, we should be good on our budget to add that.
So yeah, that was one of Roger Brooks's piece of advice is don't have a lot of signs that say don't.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, we want to make it as open and friendly as possible while still letting her have insurance.
So what's the ask? Is it,
Well,
is it 435, 141 or?
I would ask the board to approve 40,000 tonight, just with all intent of spending 35,000 or less, but as he mentioned, you should always have a contingency, and I think 40,000 would be appropriate, so we wouldn't have to come back to you when we add some more bean bags or the fence comes in a little higher. So 40,000 would be my recommendation.
We built in a contingency already.
I would build in a little extra more. We communicated briefly and he said he was adding a contingency, but I would add a little bit more. I mean, you're certainly welcome.
Well, does this have the signage? You said there were $600. I'm sorry if I didn't.
so the 35 does not include adding the color logos.
So if you
said
we're
it,
voting for that.
yeah, if you voted up to 40,000, then we could add the color logos and all that stuff.
Here's the game.
Sorry to get back to maintenance. Does any of this concrete, so, you know, I saw on here like a water-based sealant on the concrete. Does that have to be done periodically? Would Franklin Parks be willing to do any maintenance that is required on them beyond just moving them, or?
Just so far, just to be 100% honest, the only thing I've talked to them about is moving it.
Okay,
But they typically have been good partners, and I would assume that's not something that's going to be cost prohibitive. So hopefully,
I mean, it may be.
it's a
couple
great
hundred bucks,
question, but I just don't have a great answer for that quite yet.
Okay.
Ken, this might be a question for you. You had mentioned something about last year. I wasn't here last year about 50,000 earmarked. Was that coming out? Is this coming out last year or is
This
this coming
actually
out this
paid
year?
out of last year's budget, so.
So this 40 will be paid from last year?
Yes,
Okay,
we have about 150 left over from last year, I believe, so.
okay.
So, I mean, I could have just moved forward and paid for this, but I felt with a new board that it's best just to bring it before you and you can share your thoughts and, you know, I think that's the best practice in this case.
So
The
it's
project
in
is delayed.
addition to the 50 from last year, it's just revising.
Exactly.
Okay.
We revised it all the way down to 40.
Any further questions? See, everybody's still looking through their packet here. Okay. What is the pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion that we approve $40,000.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been excuse me, moved by James and seconded by Joe that we approve $40,000 for this project. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion.
Thank you so much. If I could just take up about 30 more seconds of your time.
Mhm.
Dana referenced it, but Ken and I met with a bunch of other local leaders, and the CBT, as you all know, the C stands for convention. And it's something that we haven't had the pleasure of adding too much yet to our county, but I'm excited to tell you that the Indiana Landmarks Preserving Historic Places Conference, which is also the de facto Indiana Main Street State Conference, is going to be coming to Franklin next year. So I'll be bringing ask to you guys in the coming months to be the headlining sponsor of this convention. They just had a record crowd in Fort Wayne of 360 people. It's a 3-day convention, and it brings a lot of people around, and it's going to be a really nice feather in our cap because, you know, Franklin has amazing historic buildings in the art craft. And so we're going to be asking you, not for this much money, but we're going to be asking you for a sponsorship on that. And I'll have the exact number then, but it's just something I'm really excited about. And this year, the chamber also brought a conference. So I think Franklin, now that we have some hotels, I think our county can really start taking off on some of these conventions. It'll be an exciting time to be a Festival Country board member. So I think we're going to take a picture.
Thank you, Danny.
Hey, Danny, we think the timeline is for having a positive.
Yep.
Well, we can.
You guys need to comb your hair around.
No, fencing's the one thing I don't know exactly what to be done, but I think we'll probably order the games.
One more phone.
Cool.
People watching on. Yeah, like, is my thing frozen?
I always forget that we're.
We're live. All this standing at the Catholic wedding in there. Anything further, Ken?
No, nothing this time.
Okay. Treasurer's report.
Okay. For the tax, excuse me, for the tax period August to September, the Johnson County Treasurer's Office collected a record $96,731.70, which is up from $84,997.78 for the same month in 2024. At the end of August, the CVT's checkbook balance was $580,048.95. Expenses presented in this month of September totaled $74,425.47. In September, there were 3 deposits totaling $461.97, and there was $4.55 paid in interest. At the end of September, the CVT's checkbook balance was $518,111.27. Expenses presented for the month of October total $60,916.98. These details have been shared on Teamwork for review. Claims are scheduled to be paid following tonight's board meeting.
Thank you. President's report. I really don't have much to report on tonight, so I'm going to yield my time. He doesn't know I'm doing this, but Jason went to the Mallow Run event.
No.
And so you'll just kind of fill us in a little bit on how that went.
No, I didn't know what to expect. And when I got there, I was like, we should have this quarterly. I mean, it was such an awesome event. I don't know if everybody else shared the same sentiment, but there were so many different, different people you got to meet, the people that we actually, give grants to or work with. And I just liked everything about it. So I don't know if there's any plan on moving that forward, maybe not quarterly, but I think at least yearly. That was something to say thank you and actually get to know a few more people. So I know that a few of us were in attendance, and I'm hoping that you guys feel.
Yeah, everybody on this side of Donnie attended, and it was great. We definitely want to do it again. I actually have some thoughts for how to improve it even next year. Maybe give away a gift so that we can quiet people down and say an announcement, but also give them a gift, and maybe even give an award to a partner that's really been good to us this year, that's really worked on a big project. So that's just a couple of my ideas for next year. But I think Lauren actually spearheaded this to begin with, and it was a great thing that we did. So, and also like to say that Day of Caring was also awesome. Jason couldn't make it. The hotel had a staff crunch, but Jennifer joined us, and I have a letter from the Social of Greenwood that I'll probably, rather than read it now, I'll just share the contents, but they were just beyond grateful. This is a 3-person staff that serves the entire senior population of Greenwood, and they just can't get around. They had me change their furnace filters because they just never had the time to do it, and they were like black with this much dust. I was like, these haven't been changed in 20 years, but so just things like that. It felt good to make a difference.
Just to give you an idea of attention to detail at the Mallow Run event, so it was published till 8:30. Well, we're all finally rolling out about 9, and I say something to Ken about, oh man, we're probably upset we're still here. And he goes, no, I knew this would happen. I booked the room till 9. I just told everybody we had to be out by 8:30. So
Just to know human psychology. Now it's gonna be room for next year.
That's 5-star event management right there.
yeah, exactly. But it was a good event. Those kind of things I always kind of judge them by, did I get to advance a conversation or learn something with how many different people, and I would say 6 or 8 or 9 for me. So it was worth being there. And I think it was good for festival country.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Ken, your report.
All right, website traffic continues to explode and outdo the performance compared to how tourism agencies are faring on a national level. You can see we set a record by averaging 28,500 visits last year, and you can see what we're doing monthly this year. Again, people are coming to us for festivals and events, things to do. Still, the Indiana Renaissance Fair, I guess people are already getting excited for next year, so that made the list, but
I was
yeah.
just gonna ask, so I met with Johnson County Parks, and then with that conversation led to me talking to David with the Indiana Renaissance Fair, and they said that they were gonna have a 2-week, I think it's June 12th and 13th, and then the 20th and 21st, 2 back-to-back weekends, but I don't know if that's been finalized yet. Has he contacted you about that?
I just specially emailed him today because we're working on the activities guide and want to put the dates in, so he may have already emailed me.
Okay.
But yeah, we're already in contact, and obviously that's something that we have to promote big time because there's a lot of interest in it. Just a lot of media went live on WGN. Mackenzie's column appeared in the Daily Journal. Wish TV covered the release of our posters, and our posters and puzzles for the 250th are selling amazingly. So that's all going well. We got Great Day TV down here to do a feature on Dolly's Farm. So just another busy month for media highlights. Placer highlights. So you have the August and September Placer reports in front of you. So that tells you like the top things that are visited in our county. One of our primary attractions in downtown Franklin saw the highest visitor count, 161,333 visits. Old Town Greenwood was next, Freedom Springs. So in all, the county received 4.2 million visits from non-residents. So those that thought that we could not be a tourist destination, I submit the Placer results for them. One specific event that we ran the numbers on was Franklin Fall Festival with 20,000 plus visitors. The average dwell time is like 2 hours. You can see it was primarily Johnson County, but 7,900 people from outside of the county, but inside Indiana, and another 259 from out of state. So this is valuable data that we receive. Smith Travel Report again shows that we're doing well. Hendricks got a bump, so they're above us for one of the rare times. They're doing a good job as well, but we continue to outperform most of the comp set there. And this is our account balances. Our CDs just came due, so I'll be renewing those for another 5 months. And then just a reminder, I think you've all had a chance to sign the minutes and the reconciliation, so that's it. And at the end of these slides, if you want to go see what everybody's individual reports, that's in the PowerPoint if you want to do that. But any questions? All right.
I think the board hasn't met your new intern yet, right?
She was going to come tonight, but Mackenzie had a personal issue, and Mackenzie's our supervisor, so we thought we'd put that off till next month. But Kate has written a column that's been published in the Daily Journal, and she's doing a great job. So you will get to meet her next month.
Well, I met her at a final Friday. She was there working the table and doing a great job engaging with people, and she seemed to be happy to be on board.
Yeah. So you'll see Kate and Mackenzie back next month.
Public comments, floor is open. Anybody have anything to say? Hearing none.
I will thank you, Shane Partnerships, and the work that we've done with you guys. The mayor's been really excited. Appreciates all the things that you guys do.
The Placer data is so invaluable. We are always working with that to decide what we're doing next, where to advertise. And I know it's a big check, but it's paying off big time.
Yeah, Ken, do you have a lot of organizations asking you for Placer data like that?
Yeah, surprisingly, Shelby's quite busy with that. Town of Whiteland has asked for several events, Bargersville, so it's been very popular throughout the county. They see the value in it as well.
Okay. Hearing nothing further, can I get a motion to close from someone?
Real quick, Ken, saw you at the Veterans Walk ribbon cutting there, so good deal on that.
Yeah, we're excited. I mean, that looks great. It's a great tribute, and we're already talking about for America's 250th next year, doing a companion piece on the other side now that the other side of that alley's done. Maybe just a singular metal piece to commemorate the 250th. So
So is that lit up all night long or just till some solar batteries run down? Or
no, it's hardwired, so
it
it
is? Okay.
runs the entire time that those bollards are activated.
Speaking of the 250, I assume that Franklin and Greenwood have committees working on plans for that.
There's actually a county committee that I believe, are you on that, Dana? Yeah, Dana and Mackenzie from our staff and a bunch of people. So there's going to be a parade, this 250th art piece, merchandise, a variety of things are in the works, banners.
David from the museum is going to.
Very good. All right.
I just kind of wanted to give a shout out to Ken and Danny because there were no grants involved in this, but the county recorder is having one of their annual meetings here. It's going to bring about anywhere from 80 to 100 people, and Danny and Ken kind of worked with her on helping her with ideas and things like that. So, you know, even though they're kind of in the background, not giving money out, they're still helping the community.
Yeah, we put together gift baskets with our guides and his printed materials and some gifts, sweets from one of our stores. So nice way to welcome those folks into town.
Very good. All right. I move we close. So we are closed. Didn't want to ask third time.